You're a few weeks into your recovery from a gambling addiction. Things are going well overall. Your finances, they're in better shape now that you're getting help managing it from your family. Mood's up because you haven't been wasting your time or your money losing bets. And you're actually just starting to reconnect with a former passion that you put to the side to focus on your gambling. Then, your friends invite you for a night out at the bar. Your local NBA team is playing on the TV. They all pull out their phones and they start talking about what bets they'll be placing on the game. Now, they don't know that you're getting help for your gambling problem, so they aren't walking on eggshells around you and avoiding the topic. You feel awkward, you feel uncomfortable, and even you feel a little slightly tempted to join in and place some wagers. It's only been a couple months since you quit. Living in our modern world, gambling is becoming a really popular pastime for many people, which means that many of the people in your life, well, they're going to start placing wagers on games where they wouldn't have just a year or two ago. Millions of people out there have absolutely no issue with gambling. They can put $20 on their local team and they can live with the results one way or another. But then on the flip side of the coin, well, there's people like me. And if you're watching this video, it's probably you too. The Gamblers Anonymous booklet tells us that we should not associate with any acquaintances that gamble. And just a few years ago when it was written, this would have been a great piece of advice. But gambling is growing quickly, and it's rapidly becoming a piece of advice that's hard to follow. In this video, I want to talk about overcoming this challenge of having friends who gamble, and what you can do as a compulsive gambler to keep those friendships alive if you want to do so. I'm Rob, and I'm a compulsive gambler. I made my last bet on November 12th, 2022, and since then, I've made it my personal mission to spread information on ways to overcome addiction and live happier and healthier lives. Now, if you feel like your current life in recovery or your upcoming life in recovery is presenting you with challenges that you aren't quite sure how to face, start by smashing that subscribe button and hitting the notification bell so that we can take on these challenges together. It's scary, but if we have a community, we can do it. So, if we have friends who gamble, but we want to keep them in our lives, it's important that we do these 3 things in order to put our recovery first in the relationship while not completely discounting the other person. The first thing that you want to do is communicate about your issue in a way that you're personally comfortable with. If your friends have no idea that you're in recovery or that you had any issue with gambling at all, how could you blame them for talking about their interests and spending time doing what brings them pleasure? I mean, as human beings, we like to assume that the people closest to us should always know exactly how to act around us, exactly what to say, and whenever they don't, we always take it as a personal attack. It's really an absurd belief, because at the end of the day, we're all individuals, and we're all doing our best to live our lives. If we're constantly thinking about what the other person around us wants us to say or do, we're not genuinely living our lives. We're just acting and pretending. If you don't want your friends to talk about gambling or gamble while you're around, you really just need to say that. Let them know a little bit about what you're going through. But always be mindful of what you're sharing, as it will change their perception of you. And rightfully so. When the facts are out there, you can expect that your friends will make better decisions and be more careful about what they say or do around you. But if they don't, and they kind of blow you off, well, perhaps they're not even really your friends after all. Communication will inspire action in people who truly care about you being in their lives. Now, the second thing that we need to do in order to keep our friendships is to take personal accountability. Your friends' gambling has nothing to do with your gambling. Most likely, your friends are going to be able to place a bet responsibly and deal with the consequences whether they win or lose without chasing losses to the point of financial ruin. When they gamble or talk about gambling, it isn't the same thing that we do as compulsive gamblers when we're talking about life and death through gambling. So we need to be cautious not to assume that every mention of blackjack will set their lives up for catastrophic failure. If we find ourselves constantly preaching to our friends that their actions are wrong, some annoyance or animosity very well might be created as we're trying to tell someone else how to live their life. Imagine if someone had told you to stop gambling because it was bad for your brain when you were in the middle of your gambling. You would have either laughed them off or gotten defensive and angry with them, and probably caused an argument of some sort. We can't live other people's lives for them. We can only offer them knowledge and support if they want it. Just because we have an issue doesn't mean that everyone else does. The third thing that we can do is recommend alternatives. If you really want to hang out with your friends, but they really want to go to a sports bar or go down to the casino, recommend some other things that you can do together. For reference, here's a list of 10 things that you can do with friends that have absolutely nothing to do with gambling. Archery, fishing, lifting, yoga, running, beach trip, skiing, hiking, kayaking, or even going dancing or clubbing. There's endless possibilities for things to do in the world that don't involve gambling. Not to mention that you'll save a ton of money over time by doing things that aren't gambling. If you present a list of alternatives to your friends and they still really want to just go to the casino, let them go. It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't like you or they don't want you in their life or value you if they go once or twice, but if your friends never want to do anything else but gamble, well, maybe those are some friends you'd be better off without. Now, although these 3 things make it more likely that you can keep a friendship with a current gambler alive, you need to remember that your recovery is the most important thing at the end of the day. If your friends don't respect that and they're doing things like purposefully tempting you to go back to the bet, you may be better off without them. Not every friend is worth keeping in your life, but you also don't have to drop a good friend because they have a hobby that you can't have. I hope that you found these tips helpful, and if you can think of anything else that you've been doing to make your friendship survive through your recovery, I'd love if you could write about it down in the comments below, as I'm still in my own recovery, and I'm always looking for ways to be better. That's all for this video. Let's keep getting better together, one day at a time. Thank you for watching.